All right, two things I wanted to go over on the statistic project. First of all, I went in and on slides 9 and 10, which are the two slides you're supposed to do, I added median value with outliers, okay? Or excuse me, this is supposed to say without outliers. And then I also added median value without outliers on the death slide also. So it's on both slides now. So when you're making this line plot, most of you, from what I've seen when people turned in, you did a nice job. Over here are your outliers. So it says click and drag the X's that are at the right to the correct place on the number line. Now remember, this is a number line. You can't go 1, 3, 7, 10 and just jump around wherever you want. On your outlier, these need to be actually done numerically. So if it's positive cases, then and you know that you have 21, 30, and 30s, okay, then you need to start your graph and count by fives. So that way on your line graph, if you count by fives, you don't have to start at 0. You could start right here at 20, okay, and then you could count by fives, 25, and you can put those right here. All right, the other option is to count by ones and just make some more marks on the line. Either way is correct, but you do need to actually make sure that when you're doing this that you are numbering it correctly. You can't just put the numbers that are there. You have to go in a sequence. So it's got to be by twos or by fives or by tens. You have to show what you're going by. So I wanted to make sure that I pointed that out. Here it says to place your outliers on the other side of the zigzag line. So the outliers you can just mark. So when you get this box back here down below, and this is, remember, up here it says text box. That's how I added this box down here. Now for those, you can type in 410 or 700 and whatever the numbers are. You can type those underneath, okay? So those are your two different options on your number line. Because of the zigzag, that allows you just to type the outliers on that side. But on the left side, you need to go through by a numerical number of some sort, whether it's by twos or by fives, by a sequence, okay? Then on the box plot, this was, if you do it with the numbers, it's really hard. You need to add more lines if you do it with the outliers. Okay, if you do it without the outliers, which is what I recommended doing, what's going to happen is you are going to get, so let me go down. This is actually Thursdays, but I wanted to go over it because I know some of you are going to try to get this done early. You're going to get on the deaths, you're going to get this to all be at 1. So your lower quartile, your median, and your upper quartile are all 3 ones. So what I've noticed is some people went through, which is not a bad thought process, but it is not correct. And they went through and they labeled on their text box, they labeled 1 and then they labeled 1 again. Okay, I see why we did that, but that's not correct. So if I was doing this, okay, I'm going to move this over here a little bit. And if this was 1, and I noticed that my lower quartile, my median, and my upper quartile are all 1, then I'm just not going to have a box here. So when I enter in this text box, I'm going to put where my 1 is. So let's say I go by halves and I say, we're going to let this one be 0. And then I'm going to tab over, I'm going to say a half. I'm going to tab over and I'm going to say 1. And then 1 and a half. Okay, and then I'm going to say 2. So on this graph, my lower, my median, and my upper quartile are all 1s. So I'm going to just move this whole box right here, and it's just going to be like a big straight line right here at 1. Okay, I'm going to move it over so it's really at 1. And then you're going to have your lines, and our lines are going to go from 0 to 1 in this case. Okay, and then, oops, sorry, I moved the median. So my box plot's going to look a little different, and that's because I tried to use less data in order to make the calculations for your mean and stuff better, but it made it a little bit harder when you graphed them. So pros and cons to trying to make it easier I tried to make it easier for the numbers, which it was, but within doing that with less data makes it hard to plot your points. So your box plot for deaths will look like this. Then over here, you've got to label your outliers. You can't just not graph them, okay? So here I'm going to put a star, and then I'm going to tab over and I'm going to put a star. And then down below, I need those deaths to be on that line. So I'm going to type in 25 and 16 on this box plot. So I'm going to put a text box right here and I'm going to type in 25. Oops, 16 comes first. And then I'm going to tab and I'm going to type in 25. So I wanted to just go over this real quick and add another video explaining this so that you knew that by making the data easier, I actually made graphing a little more confusing. So I apologize for that, but I do want to just make sure you're good. You can still graph a box plot. Like I said, it just looks a little different because lower quartile, upper quartile, and your median are all at 1. All right. Good luck finishing these up. Hopefully by adding this median without, that will help you understand your data a little bit more. And you should be good to go. So good luck finishing this. If you have questions, please let me know. Thanks.